Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do a little bit on factoring today. This is with a coefficient of 1 in front of the x squared, so we're going to call this factoring with a is equal to 1 because a is the number in front of x squared. Okay, so the way that we're going to approach is when we FOILed, we realized that this was a product to get to this number, and this was a sum or a difference. So what we're going to look at is what are the products at 20, or what are the factors at 24 that get us to 5? Well, if I do 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 4 and 6, oh, forgot 3 and 8. All those give me a product of 24. Well, we need a product of negative 24, so that means I need one of them that's positive and one of them that's negative. So if I add or subtract this, I get to either 25 or 23. Add or subtract here, I get either to 10 or 14, so it's not that one. Here I get 10 or 2. Here if I add or subtract, I get 11 or 5. So it's definitely going to be this one. Okay? But I need a positive to get to negative 24. I need one of them to be positive, one to be negative. But to get to positive 3 and negative 8, so what am I going to put in my parentheses? Is x plus 3 and x minus 8. And if I would go FOIL it, I would get x squared. I would get, so I'm going to check one or two of these today, minus 8x. Here I get plus 3x. Here I get negative 24. And if I add these together, I in fact get that. Okay, product, sum, or difference. So if we look at number 2, we're looking for the factors at 15. Well, that's 1 in 15. 3 and 5. Actually, I meant to make this an 8. Sorry about that. All right, so do I get to 8 with any of those? Well, this is 14 or 16. This is 2 or 8, so it's going to be this one. And to get to negative 8 or positive 15, I need them both the same sign. But to get to negative 8, to add them, I'd have to have a negative 3 and a negative 5. So what goes here is x minus 3, x minus 5. Okay? All right. Now this one, if you notice, that middle term is missing. So it is really the same as x squared plus 0x minus 100, if that helps us. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to now look at what are the factors of 100? Well, 1 and 100, 2 and 50, none of those get me to 0. The only ones that get me to 0 be when they're the same. Okay, so 10 and 10, because it happens to be that this is a perfect square. So what would they have to be to get to, I said I need one positive and one negative to get to negative 100. So if I have one of each, I get to negative 100, and don't they cancel out? And I get 0? Yep. So it's x minus 10, x plus 10. The order on those does not matter. You could switch those. And we are now factored. Factor for this, or product for this, sum for this. Now, these are factor and solve, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing to this step, but you notice it said equal to 0, so we can solve it. Okay, so we're still going to do our two sets of parentheses. Okay, we're looking for the factors of positive 20 that get me to positive 12. So I have 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and what? 4 and 5. Which pair get me to positive 12? Would be a positive 2 and a positive 10. So they add together and I get 12. They multiply together and I get positive 20. So what is that? Is x plus 2, x plus 10. And we're now factored. Just what we did before. But now our last step is going to be to solve this. So I need to ask myself, well, what number plus 2 is 0? Or what number makes that equal to 0? Is when x is negative 2. So my solution for this would be x is negative 2. What number plus 10 is 0? Well, that would be when x is negative 10. Okay? So now I have my two solutions. So it's factor as before, and then you solve it at the end. So here we're going to set it up. So what are my two factors of 30? Well, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. Well, which pair get me to 13? Well, actually, I have two of them. because both of these seem to work, but only one of them will work. So what does this mean? I need a positive and I need a negative. Because in order to get to negative 30 using this one, I would need both of them negative. And or to get to negative 13, I need both negative. When I multiply negative 3 times negative 10, I get positive 30. So it's not that one. Okay. If you look at this one now, if I do a positive 2 and a negative 15, they add to get negative 13. They multiply to get negative 30. So what's it going to be? Is it factors to x plus 2, x minus 15. So now let's go solve it. What plus 2 is equal to 0? Well, that's when x is negative 2. What minus 15 equals 0 is x is equal to 15, positive 15. And those are my two solutions. So the first ones we did were just factor. Just factor it. These are factor and solve, which means you factor it, and since it's equal to 0, we can solve it. You can't solve it if it's not equal to anything else but 0, because this is known as zero product rule. Okay? All right. Hope this helps. Thanks. Bye.